Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new year of Blocky Bryson. I have some pretty huge announcements to start this video off, so let's get into that. So the first announcement is for the brand new base, and so this actually was a project that took quite a while to get done, but I decided to spend some time just really working on it recently, and I'm super happy with the way it turned out. I'm pretty sure we got everything done as far as the main walls of this thing all built up. We still have a little bit more stuff to do, but the main structure and the main building is all put in place. And by going inside, you could really get a good idea of how massive this building is. And from inside here, I think this just looks so cool, especially the way the wall is just leaning over you. I think it's just a super cool effect. And so I'm so happy with the way that thing looks. And so the next announcement involves the video and audio quality. This is something that I really didn't pick up until quite a while. I was watching some of my videos, and I actually got really annoyed at how choppy they were. The videos were really just laggy. It was a bad FPS, bad frames per second, and I was not happy with the quality at all. So I spent a ton of time after that, just days after that, working on the video quality. And so I'm really hoping now that everything should look super smooth. If I turn on cinematic mode and just take a look around, everything should be way smoother than before. And the only type of lagginess we should have is from my actual game itself, if anything happens then. And so that's something that needed to be fixed big time. Another thing is I worked on the audio quality a bit, so hopefully my voice sounds clearer. It should sound a little bit better. And overall, just getting a lot of the main things tuned up and sounding and looking a whole lot better. And so then the final thing I did just involves the game. I try to make it a whole lot better, just as far as the smoothness as I'm moving around, just trying to make it look really nice. And then I also made the toolbar a bit smaller, to kind of make it less obstructing. And then just one more thing with the video quality is I did drop it down from a 4K down to 1080p, because it's a whole lot easier to make it look smoother and to make everything just a bit cleaner when you have it at a lower resolution. And so no more 4K videos, but that really shouldn't be a big deal. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I've done a ton of work on just getting everything looking better. Now we could get into Minecraft and start working on the base here. And so the first thing that really needs to be done, and something that's been bothering me a ton, are these guys right here. They've swarmed everywhere in the base, they've made it into the nether, they're in the electronics of the item sorter, they've just completely taken over everything. And I think it's time to take them out. I think we need to save 2 per each one of these rooms, and we have this one and the super smelter room all taken care of, which means that we need 2 for this one and 2 for this one still, which is 4 to save. I think I'm gonna go grab some glass, seal off 4 of these guys, and the rest have really gotta go. But I mean, just look at this. They're down in the sorter area there, swarming this whole floor here, and if we actually go take a peek back behind the redstone, now here we are behind the redstone, and here they are, just completely everywhere. It's insane. I don't know what I was thinking, spawning all these guys in. Like, even up here, there's one that just came inside now. They're up on this thing, and they've made it down into this room here, which I actually don't even know how it's possible. We got this guy here. Let's take a quick trip through the nether. I mean, it's just insane how much places they've gone into. And so here we go. This is the most ambitious guy that I know. I think he's the one that's made it the furthest. I think either it was him or some other guy made it out here. Yeah, it's just crazy how much they've taken up. That was actually super strange. This was the guy just in the nether. He followed me back through and he walked all the way here. And I don't think we have any more cows in the nether. Okay, so I gotta find which cows we could use. And actually, another thing with the video quality is I noticed something huge was that the dark areas in the video recordings just looked awful. We weren't able to see them at all. In my last Survival Series episode, I was up on top of the nether, and I was super disappointed in the way that turned out. That just looked absolutely terrible. And so I've worked on improving that. Hopefully this area, and this is pretty dark in game, but hopefully you can still tell what's going on. It looks like you should be able to. And it also looks like we have some cows here that should work perfect for saving. So anyway, here we go. Let's take out each and every one of these guys. And although I do now feel like a mass cow murderer, that was definitely something that needed to be done. That was an absolute infestation of cows taking over the base. and it honestly seems pretty weird without them now. It almost feels like we're missing something, but it just looks so clean, it's so quiet now. I guess it is kind of sad that they're gone. I mean, it does feel a little lonely now, but at least we have Bobo, and now we have more than ample food to feed him. So the next step for this new base project involves this area right here. So when I came in to work on this project, I needed to dig out a pretty huge area, and so that way I could have those underground rooms with the doors leading into them. And so that pretty much required me to dig out this giant space here. And one thing that resulted in is this gap here. Since I dug it out to be perfect size for the biggest part of this area right here, that meant that there's pretty much going to be some gaps as it narrows down. And so what we need to do next is slab up the entire floor so that way there's nothing able to spawn down there. And then just to go over this entire area with some grass and kind of blend the building into the surroundings and make it all look natural. And the reason I'm placing down these slabs instead of just keeping the torches we already have is because we're actually low enough down that slimes are able to spawn, and slimes are actually able to spawn regardless of whether you have it lit up or not. So that's why we gotta place in all these, so that way we don't hear the weird slime noises through the walls. And on this corner right here, you could actually see one of the slimes that spawned in. And so what I was actually testing here is I placed down a ton of torches, maybe wondering if I would be filling up the spawning area and they wouldn't be able to spawn in. And so this chunk right here is one of the slime chunks where this guy spawned in. But even though I have a torch in every single block, they're actually still able to spawn in, which is something I wasn't sure about, so I thought that was pretty interesting. And something I just thought of is since we actually got rid of all those cows and we now have a ton of room in the base, I think we could actually introduce this guy in. And if anyone remembers, we did have a slime in the base, a little one like this, and his name was Slimer. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in a video, but he went up the bubble elevator in the item sorter room and kind of hit the ground a little too hard, and since these little slimes only have half a heart, he pretty much died. So I think we need to protect this guy a bit better, but I think he would be an awesome addition to the base. So I'm going to do the very slow job of bringing this guy all the way down through the item sorter until we could pick up a name tag and bring him all the way back so that way we can name him without any worry of getting too far away and having him despawn. I managed to get the name tag successfully, and now we need to come up with the name for this guy. The last guy's name was Slimer. I think a good name for this guy would be... yeah, what about Squishy? Yeah, I think I'll go with that. I actually don't have much glass, so I'm going to make a pretty tiny cage. It can only be 1 by 1. Yeah, that uses up everything, but we'll go back sometime soon and build something better. I'm starting on the grass now since we got all this area down here all finished, and one thing I've actually been thinking about, which could be a pretty big problem, is that if an enderman comes up right here and grabs away this grass block, let's say this one right here, it will actually expose the area down below, and so I need to come up with some kind of system or something to kind of fix that. A few ways I could kind of think of is just to do a few layers of grass just to kind of get it bulked up a bit, so if a few get taken it's not even noticeable at all. Another thing I was thinking about is maybe putting some stone or something underneath, so if one gets taken it's obvious where it needs to be placed back in. Or maybe we could just have observers everywhere and TNT and just explode any enderman that tries to steal any of those blocks. That would be a little bit over the top. I actually noticed something really weird with Enderman pretty recently. I don't know if it's something to do with the update, whether it's intended or it's just a weird thing that kind of happened, and it's not really something that's wanted, but I spotted this Enderman and it looked like he was holding a block, so I went to go take him out. But when I went over, I realized he wasn't holding any block at all, but he still had his arms out like he was holding something. I thought this was super strange, and it actually turned out that he was holding a flower. And so this is something I'm almost certain wasn't able to be done before, and so I was super confused by this. I took a few screenshots, they're pretty bad. But yeah, I was trying to figure this out, and I actually ended up aggroing the Enderman, which made him throw the flower down, and I couldn't get any better screenshots. This is something that I thought was so weird. Is it supposed to be added? Is it something that just accidentally got added when they were changing different stuff around? Or I really just don't know what's up with it, but I thought it was pretty strange, and I thought I would share it with you guys. Actually, another thing I could do to stop these Endermen is to build up some blocks right here, because when an Enderman picks up a grass block or gravel or anything, it needs to be standing next to it like this, so it'd be able to pick up this block right here, and all these ones on the edge, but it wouldn't be able to pick up these floor blocks. So what I'm thinking is maybe what we could do is build up kind of a border. Actually, I wonder if maybe if you put buttons on it, if that would stop it. This is something I might have to do a bit of testing with, but if you built up a border around this thing to kind of protect them from grabbing that edge block, that's definitely something that might be able to work. So here's a quick look at how things are going, and it's turning out alright. There is some weirdness with where this thing crashes into the building. We get some weird edges and stuff, and I think it looks pretty much alright. But here's another spot. We have things like this, which I do think look pretty strange, but I don't really know how you'd get rid of that. Guess we could extend that out. But yeah, it's going pretty well. We're just getting a few little bits of weirdness. And something that I actually want to do, and dang, it's super spooky in there, is do a time lapse of this thing. I haven't done a time lapse in forever, it feels like, and I used to do a ton of those. So I'll get that together and we can just get this thing finished up. So here's the end result of terraforming the whole area around it. I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I feel like this thing actually looks a little bit too small. Like the whole base, it doesn't look tall enough. It doesn't look like there's enough there, kind of. I'm thinking of whether I should actually add more to this. This is something that I don't want to happen, is for it to get too skinny and then it to look weird that way. For this just to kind of pyramid too far up. But I feel like that looks too short, I don't know. That's something I definitely want to know what you guys think. If this looks good, if you think I should build it taller or make any changes, you should definitely let me know, because I'm kind of not too sure about it. I mean, anyway, it does look pretty epic. I think we could go get rid of these few sea lanterns here. I'm pretty happy with this. The terraforming, I'm pretty glad with the way that all turned out. I think it matches pretty well, and something I might actually do later on is either carpet up the area like we did on our one world, so that way it's all spawn proof. Or maybe do something else with it, make some kind of cool texturing around it. Or maybe add in a little village, either in this type of theme or something else. Those are just a few ideas of what we could expand this into, and I'm just super happy with it so far. So I started this video talking about some improvements I made, and now we're going to end it with even more improvements. And so a few things I've worked on is lowering the game audio a bit so it's not too overpowering. And then the big huge thing is I finally figured out how to turn up the brightness on the screen recordings, and I also bumped up the color a bit so it should look super nice now. And I'll show you some shots up on top of the nether to show you that it's really fixed now. And the dark areas in the game should look just how they look when I'm playing. And so I'm really happy with the way everything's looking. It's turning out super nice, and I hope it looks good once it all gets to YouTube and everything's all uploaded. I just hope it turns out looking pretty good. It's smooth, it's a good quality, good color and brightness and all that. So I think that's going to be it for this video. I want to thank everyone for watching a ton. I'll see you guys in the next one, and see you later. And actually, I forgot a few things I wanted to say, so I'll quickly go through those. And so the video upload should be a lot more constant now. I kind of took a little bit of a break, and I worked on the video quality, as I've been telling you guys about. But now we should be able to get back. I'm shooting to get at least one video a week, but that's a lot of work doing that. But I'll really try my best. And the other thing is, I've been getting some requests to do a tutorial for the one plain slime block machine I made. And I'm planning on doing that. It just might take a little while, but that should be the next episode. But with that said, I really think that's everything. So again, thanks for watching guys, I'll see you next time. See you later.